Today I want to speak about the German locomotive BR 151, which was manufactured in 1970s. It's a German locomotive. And also I want to speak about the actual trends and future of the European model manufacturing. As you can see, this locomotive is manufactured by German company Piko. It is the company based in East Germany. And here you can see also the latest package from them. It is quite good, but I don't think it's ideal, because if this is closed, then you cannot see the locomotive. So for the dealers it is not so good. You have to always open the box to show the locomotive to customers. But it got also good things, like this manual, which can you slide from the bottom side, and there you got the part lists, instructions and so on. I got no special relationship to this locomotive, but I like the design, and also what makes this locomotive exceptional is exceptional interior of the engine room, as you can see. And this is what I wanted to speak also about today, because this makes also manufacturing or moves the European models of the trains forward. And I am very thankful to Piko that it not sleeps and want to improve their models. In last years there were two big concurrents, two big manufacturers of European models. One was Rocco, or is Rocco, and the second is Piko. And this locomotive on the left is from Rocco, and the green one, BR 151, is from Piko. And the Rocco was always company which made models with higher details than Piko. In last years, Piko wanted to make their models more detailed, but there was such things like windscreen wipers molded into the windscreens and so on. And as you can see, this locomotive shows the big step forward in model manufacturing and designing from the Piko, because as you can see, these wipers are separately attached. And also, as you can see, and as it was mentioned, you got a great interior. Yeah, they could make, if you can see, there is the upper part of the electromotor, and all the PCB is placed to the top, so they can create the see-through interior. And in this place they could use the slogan from the scale trains: see through the difference. I show you also the another side of the locomotive and interior. So here is the other side. It's also very nice detailed, and if you compare it to the Rocco, you see that the interior of the Rocco is missing the depth of the details, yeah, because everything is covered. Okay, it's another type of locomotive, but you know what I mean, yeah. So This is the first thing, interior. The second thing is also huge amount of photo etched parts on the roof. As you can see here, they are also see-through. And the third thing is lighting. And you can, for example, turn on the lights in the cabin. Cabin is also very nice detailed. And you got also lighted engine room. If I turn the light off, then you can see that the engine room is lighted. And I take the shell off from this locomotive, and you can see then how it is possible and how good Piko designed the PCB of the new locomotives. Yeah, because this PCB can be used in all future locomotive with such style of the body. And here it is. Here are the internals of the locomotive. As you can see, here is the new style of the PCB. The Piko got one big advantage. They got own factory in China, so they can develop and manufacture all what they want. And this is also probably the case. I don't know if the electronics was developed here in Europe or in China, but it does not matter, because it is the giant leap for Piko and for its models. As you can see, here is what I was speaking about. Here is the solution. How could they make see-through interior? Because the PCB is placed at the top, and it was possible to make a see-through engine room. I can show you the functions. Here you got the PCB for front lights. I modified the CV settings to make the fading in and out front and rear lights. Then you have the cab light for the lighting of the cabin. And the most interesting thing is the lighting of the interior or engine room. You got these 4 LED diodes, as you can see it here. I don't know if each LED can be controlled separately, because as you can see, you got here LD2, LD3, LD4 and 5. I will check it, but if yes, then it will be great, because then you can make maybe such effects like by the same model but from ESU, where you got the blinking blue light in the engine room, which simulates the electric shock in the engine room, yeah, when you are turning the locomotive on. One interesting thing Here is the new decoder from the Piko. Piko was cooperating with ESU, so they got always good decoders and also interesting sounds. And as you can see, they probably stopped, I don't know if cooperation with ESU, but at least they stopped to ordering sound decoders from ESU, and they developed their own decoder. At least they said that they developed this decoder, because a lot of people said that this decoder was developed by Uhlenbrock. It's also the German company which manufactures the decoders. So I put the decoder out and maybe I check the elements if I can find something similar to the past Uhlenbrock decoders. And it is a very good step from Piko, because if you consider that the sound decoder cost around 90 or 100 euros or US dollars, it makes almost a third of the price of the wall locomotive. Yeah, so with this step they Piko make them independent from the developers of the sound decoders on one side, and on the other side they can put in this decoder what they want. Yeah, and also they earn much more money, because they earn much more money from the wall price of the locomotive. And probably it makes also the wall locomotive more attractive for customers, because I bought this sound version for 220 euros, I think. So it's a very good price for the locomotive with the sound. And that was the problem of the European locomotives and models, and also maybe manufacturers, that the average European model cost around 300 euro, and if you compare it with the American locomotive, for example from scale trains, which is highly more detailed, and it costs $225. I think that is the reason why this hobby is better supported in US than in Europe, because they got better prices. Yeah, if you consider that prices in US are 1/3 better, it makes also this hobby more interesting for people. Yeah, so as I said, if European models cost, sound models cost in average 300 euros, this model costs 220 with this sound decoder. And in next step also I make a video for you with the sound, so you can hear that this sound is really exceptional, and this decoder is also very good. Also in speed step 1 it moves very nicely, so it is very well developed decoder. I wanted to mention also one interesting thing, and this is this light in the front. I show you then this light when I put the shell on. Yeah, so it's also the nice feature. Based on the manual, they call it slow speed light or shunting light, but it looks more like light for lightning of the environment around the locomotive, or or the steps around the locomotive. So very big leap from Piko in quality and functionality of its models. So I pull out the decoder. As you can see on PCB there is a place for a sound decoder with a Plus22 interface, and here is the decoder. I have researched on internet about the elements on this decoder. At the top you see the ASU lock sound 4.0 decoder, and this from Piko looks much more newer and advanced. If you consider, it is clear because it's a difference in development in few years, yeah. So it's very good that Piko uses the newest technologies, and it looks that Piko probably developed this decoder on its own, and it looks that it got nothing common with the Uhlenbrock decoder. I have researched about the parts on internet, and the microcontroller in the middle is a microcontroller from Silicon Labs EFM8. It's a 8-bit microcontroller unit based on 8051 core, and probably, as you can see, the Piko uses two microcontrollers. Yeah, the ASU uses this Atmel Mega decoder 644PA, and Piko uses instead two microcontrollers. Probably that in the center from Silicon Labs is probably the main controller, and it is used for the communication and processing of inputs and outputs. And the second one on the left is the Atmel AVR 80X Mega 32E5, and this microcontroller is probably used for the sound playback. It's a 8/16-bit decoder, and this is also very good decoder. If I turn the decoder around, you can see this big element on the left top side. It's a memory for the sounds, and based on internet it is the Giga Device SPI NOR flash memory with the density of the 128 megabits. If you compare it with the ASU lock sound, ASU lock sound got 32 megabits memory, so it means it got 4 megabytes memory, and this from Piko got 128 megabits memory. It means it's a 16 megabytes memory, so it got 4 times more space for sounds than ASU lock sound 4. So amazing. So thumbs up for Piko and for its work and development of new electronics. I wanted to mention one more thing, and it's to these LEDs for the lighting of interior. Piko developed these PCBs very good because they placed these LEDs at the top, and you can have on a shell windows on different places. Some models got windows in the front and at the back, and here are no windows, and with this solution you wouldn't be able to light the windows. But Piko made it very clever. They put these LEDs at the top, and as you can see here, you got this lightning bar, fiber optics, and with this fiber optics you can use by other models longer these lightning bars, and you can deliver the light to the other parts of the model. So it does not matter if you got windows in the middle or on the sides. With this great solution you can light any part of the locomotive. So very good work from the Piko. So once more I wanted to show you the lighting of the interior. So it looks great. And not to forget, also I wanted to show you the loudspeaker, and I thought that the Piko used in this model old style of the speaker, but now I am happy because he finally uses also sugar cube style speakers, which are very good known for their very good reproduction of the deep tones. So very good, and I am very satisfied from the electronics in this model. It's very advanced. In the shell there is nothing special. It looks very good. As you can see, you can put out the windows and replace them, no problem. So I have put the shell back, and I wanted to show you this truck light. It's very nice feature. There are only two things on this model what I do not like, and one from them are these grab irons by the cap doors, which are from plastic. I think that it's very bad solution, and Piko should use grab irons from the metal in this case, because they are also separately applied, so you does not save on work. So I think if they would use the metal grab irons, it would look much more better. The second thing what I do not like is the fact that only 4 from 6 axles are driven. The middle axle of each truck is not driven. But it's not so important, but if all 6 axles would be driven, it would improve the traction of the whole model. The whole model weighs 550 grams, so not much, but it's not so bad. Truck details are amazing, so very good work from Piko. It's really stunning, and also the underbody details are very good. you can see these air tanks here. So very good work, Piko. So now some final words to this locomotive, and then I turn on the sound. I didn't do it because then you wouldn't hear me very good. Electric locomotives are mostly boring, yeah, and I like more diesel locomotives because of their more interesting sound. But as you will hear, this locomotive got the most interesting sound from all manufacturers which make this model, because if the locomotive moves, you can hear the fans, and these fans make the sound very interesting. Yeah. So final words: great model which moved the European models to the next level, and I wanted to say Piko that they have made really great work in improving their models and in improving European models. So great. And now enjoy the ride and impressions from the model. Yes, these were the fans which I mentioned, and I like them very much. this 4 times bigger sound memory make also possible to store longer station announcements and communications between dispatcher and engineer, because these two types of sounds take the most memory space. So now you can hear some dialogues which are stored in this decoder.
Lokführer Zug 67894 für Fahrdienstleiter.
Fahrdienstleiter hört.
Lok für Zug 67894 auf Abstellgleis 91 bereit zum Umsetzen auf Zug.
Lok für Zug 67894 von Abstellgleis 91 über 17 auf 21 an Zug.
Lok für Zug 67894 von Abstellgleis 91 über 17 auf 21 am Zug. Verstanden?
Verstanden.
Lokführer D302, Lok ausgehängt und bereit zum Umsetzen.
Lokführer D302, du fährst von Gleis 1 über Weiche 231 zu Gleis 3.
Über Weiche 231 nach Gleis 3, verstanden.
Ja, geht in Ordnung.